Hey there, it's your boy Blue here at Bluebears Games, and today's video will be my upgrade guide for the Bloomburrow Animated Army Commander precon. Before I get to today's video, I want to first take a moment to ask for your help in supporting my channel. The easiest and cheapest ways to show your support are by liking my videos, subscribing to the channel if you haven't yet, sharing any of my content on your socials, and or by watching some of my many other videos that I've created over the years. Additionally, you can support the channel by purchasing Super Thanks, channel memberships, decks that you may have seen on the channel directly from me on the Bluebears Games Facebook page, and or visiting our sponsor, Arcane Fortress, by using the link that just popped up at the top of your screen and purchasing any of their amazing gaming supplies from them. By using that link specifically, you should receive a 5% discount store-wide. And finally, the last thing you can possibly do to help the channel out is through donations of extra cards that you may have just lying around. Even your bulkiest of bulk will help immensely, so if you'd like to donate to the channel, please message me on the Bluebears Games Facebook page or email me at bluebearsgames@gmail.com and we can discuss the logistics of how. Anything you can do to help support my small channel is greatly appreciated, and I thank you for it. Now with that out of the way, let's begin. For my guides, I start by showing you the cards that I would recommend removing first. Then I share the cards that I would add back in that I believe will help make this deck either more fun to play a little better, or hopefully both. So the big question I had in the unboxing was whether or not I should keep Bello as the commander or switch to Wildseer. After looking at things a little closer, I found that the limitations of Wildseer's ability was just too great of a hurdle to overcome, and I will be keeping Bello as the commander for this guide. What I also found out was that even though Bello changes vehicles into 4/4 creatures instead of whatever is printed in their power and toughness box, they get to keep everything else that's printed on them. That means that if it has flying, or trample, or any other ability that's printed on it, they retain those abilities while also being a 4/4 with haste, indestructible, and have that card draw ability. I found this intriguing enough that I wanted to make my first upgrade guide that actually added vehicles rather than taking them out. Not every card I'm about to recommend will be a vehicle, but a good portion of it will be. The rest of what I'm going to recommend to add will be really good utility, or part of some combo that should fit the theme. I believe I got the assignment right, so let's get this started, and I'll begin by showing you what I would take out first. I would remove one mountain, one forest, exotic orchard, Temple of Abandon, Mossfire Valley, Gruul Signet, Burnished Heart, Sakura Tribe Elder, Llanowar Loam Speaker, Lotus Cobra, Evercoat Ursine, Grothama All Devouring, Grumgully the Generous, and Greater Good. That's 14 cards in total that I recommend removing. Out of the box, this deck had 38 lands and 21 pieces of ramp. That's almost 60% of the deck dedicated to just producing mana. I get that the theme here has a slightly higher mana curve, but it wasn't that high. Bringing it down to about 50% won't hurt the deck at all. Don't worry though, I won't be leaving it at 33 lands, as I have a couple of lands that I'll be suggesting to add back in shortly. The other 3 cards I would remove just because I don't see the value. There's plenty of opportunity for card draw with Bello, and while I absolutely love Grumgully as a commander, I don't see what he does adding a whole lot of benefit here with the new additions that I'm about to show you. So you know the game plan, and you know what cards I would remove. Now let me show you which cards I would add back in that I believe should improve how this deck plays. I'll start by showing you the 2 lands that I would add back in. The first land is Rockfall Vale. There's nothing fancy here. This is just a much better budget dual land than that crappy ass temple. The other land that I would add back in is Fountainport. I know I recommend this one a lot, but there's good reason. Any deck that has even a small token theme to it can take full advantage of this card. What's even better is that this precon specifically had a very small treasure token theme to it, and this should help that along nicely as it can create those treasure tokens repeatedly. As far as creatures go, I've only got 2 that I would recommend adding back in. The first creature that I'd recommend is Canoptic Spider. The first thing that I'll point out is that being above 4 mana value means that Bello will affect this. The built-in flying gives it some much-needed evasion, and the card draw when vehicles enter fits well into the rest of the changes I'm about to show you. And the other creature that I'll recommend adding in is called Giggling Skitterspike. Another thing that I want to point out is that with Bello, +1/+1 counters make any creature that it affects even better. Making this creature monstrous means that on your turn, with this and Bello out, it's a 9/9. That means it will deal 9 damage to each opponent if it attacks. If this had Vigilance, it would be insane. The lone enchantment that I'll recommend is Case of the Locked Hothouse. Again, I know I recommend this a lot, but it is for good reason. Bello has a built-in way to help you draw a lot of cards, and inevitably you're going to have a lot of extra lands in your hand. This will help you put some of those lands into play, which is a form of ramp. In turn, that will help you solve this case, allowing you to also be able to play lands and cast enchantments and creatures from the top of your library. Everything about this card is useful in this and a lot of other decks, just like Fountain Port is. Now we get to the biggest portion of this guide, the artifacts. There are 7 in total, and surprise, almost all of them are vehicles. 6 of them to be exact. Those 6 vehicles are Nautiloid Ship, the Regalia, Weatherlight, Midnight Crusader Shuttle, Sky Sovereign Console Flagship, and Horde Hauler. Look at all those abilities. Flying, Trample, Ramp, Direct Damage, and even a Villainous Choice. All of them will be 4/4s with Indestructible, Haste, and that ability that lets you draw a card on top of what's printed on them when Bello is in play and it's your turn. Have I finally found a way to make vehicles usable? I know that I normally hate on vehicles, but this actually has me rooting for more somewhat decent vehicles to be printed in the future. And the last artifact that I'll recommend is a newer card called Banner of Kinship. The obvious choice for creature type that you'll end up choosing is going to be Elemental thanks to Bello's ability. Depending on your board state, this could enter with a lot of counters, making your dudes rather beefy on your turn. Now for the fun part of this guide, the combo. It uses 2 cards that came in the box, one of which is the commander itself, Bello, and the other being Gilded Lotus. Then it uses Voltaic Construct to produce infinite colored mana. How it does this is explained in the link at the top of your screen. Now, what do we do with all that mana? Oh, I know. Let's make infinite combat steps by also adding Aggravated Assault. This is a combat-based deck after all, so why not just keep doing it? It's not the most creative thing that you can do with infinite mana, but it does fit the deck's theme perfectly. And that, my fellow Spellslingers, is my upgrade guide for the Bloomburrow Animated Army Commander Precon. While everything that I just showed you won't make this precon a top-tier deck, it should help make it much more interesting and fun to play. I'm actually kind of excited that I finally found a way to use vehicles that I actually like. I was starting to think that would never happen. Unfortunately, the total price for all the changes I recommended making ended up being the highest total monetary value for any guide I've done like this to date at around $50. But there is a way to reduce that. I added an infinite combo that used a card that was over $10, but it's not 100% necessary as there was already one that came in the box. It uses Kodama the East Tree, Gruul Turf, and Rampaging Balos, and if you're fine with just that combo, you can save yourself a few shillings. Me personally, I prefer infinite combat steps, but it's all personal preference. So, what do you think? I'd love to hear your thoughts on all of the changes that I just went over in the comments. Well, my friends, that's all I've got for you this week. Thanks for watching, but if you're looking for more Magic-related content to watch, please browse through my channel as I'm sure you'll find more of my videos that you'd enjoy. Before you go, though, please Smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. This will notify you when I release new content, which I do every Friday, sometimes on Saturdays, and now occasionally on Mondays. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you all very soon.